My name is Phyllys Graham and I'm 100 years old. I was born in December 1920 and was 18 years old when war was declared in September 1939. I was called up almost immediately after for the ATS and ordered to report to Kitchener Barracks. These were army barracks adjacent to Chatham Dockyard. I'd been invited to a dance earlier in the year. I didn't realise it was a recruitment drive for the ATS. I signed an enrolment form, not expecting there to be a war. I was rather taken aback to be called up several months later. My parents were supportive of my decision to join the war effort, but of course concerned I was posted to a high-risk area. I said goodbye to friends, many of whom had also signed up for the war effort. On arrival at the barracks, I was issued with my army uniform. I had been wearing summer clothes before being called up, and the army uniforms were very thick, hot and uncomfortable. I signed the official secrets documents. Our work was too secret. Civilian and military staff alike were all aware of the careless talk and anti-gossip campaign. I remember endless marching and drills throughout my time in the ATS. My knees never really recovered. We did some physical exercise, but not very much. I was assigned to the company office, which was in the dockyard. I worked for army officers who worked alongside officers from the Royal Marines and Royal Navy. My duties were mainly secretarial and administrative. The only training I had was learning to touch type. I still recall the OWERTY keyboard. We were very focused, worked hard, and for long hours, 7 days a week. Our 8-hour shifts were either morning or afternoon. It was very tiring, and even more so when it got dark and we had the blackout. I spent a little time off trying to relax and catch up on sleep. That was not always possible with the ongoing air raids. The officers were not used to working with women, and you could tell that many felt awkward at first. Life was more formal and structured then, especially in the relationships between men and women. However, it did not take long before we were working together in a business-like way. The girls were always treated with the greatest politeness and respect. Nearly everyone was friendly, but there was no opportunity to develop close friendships. I initially lived at home in Rochester and cycled each day to the barracks. The dockyard was a target for German bombs that were regularly being dropped. We were not issued with steel helmets until later in the war. I recall during the air raids pedalling as quickly as I could. Bombing was usually at night and there was a blackout. I felt vulnerable and it was nerve-wracking cycling home after my late shift, which finished at 10 o'clock at night. When I cycled back to work the next morning, it was devastating to see yet again more bomb damage. There were burnt-out homes, shops and other buildings, as well as damage at the dockyard. This meant even more lives had been lost. My father was retired and he spent a lot of the time in the garden growing food, which was in short supply. My brother Albert and sister Jessie also lived at home. Albert was also called up and joined the Royal Marines. He too was based at Chatham Dockyard. My sister worked very hard at household chores, both at home and for others. We had an Anderson shelter in the garden, which my parents refused to use. We lived in a 3-storied house and it was terrifying during the raids. I would dash downstairs to lie under the kitchen table or lie shaking in bed.